No, I've been out there.
Hello and welcome back to Randomly Generated Conversations. I'm Wesley, Sebastian.
Hello.
And Mabel, my wife.
Hello.
For those that are new to this podcast, we take randomly generated topics and we discuss those, see where the conversation goes from there. For those that are viewing this on YouTube, make sure to put a like, a subscribe in there so we get the visibility, as well as in Spotify. Make sure you follow us. That way we can know who's listening to it and get an idea of what you're liking, what you're not. Add comments when possible. Give us any feedback. All right. Today's topics. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. First one. What is something you believed as a child that seems funny now?
Okay, I can start.
Okay.
When I was a child, it was little, but I thought every time we would go in an airplane, we would go out of space.
Okay.
And each space, was a country. You know, each place was a country. And I was like, but I never see it dark. How does it go? And then I thought, you can see the squares.
The little grid that it looks like down there.
Yeah. So that's what I thought. It was out of space.
I mean, I could see that. You're going past the clouds and you're above the clouds. So the little squares, I just think that's because really the Earth is just one big quilt.
Yep.
Right? What about you, Bastion? Is there anything you believed when you were, you're still a child, but when you were younger, that now just kind of seems ridiculous?
Swallowing gum will, do something. I don't remember what it was, but they told us if you swallow gum, it will, get inside of you, then it'll stick, and then your heart will shut down and everything. And I'm like, oh. I swallowed so many pieces of gum. I have not yet to have my heart shut down on me.
Yeah,
It kind of seems silly.
They used to say, it takes so many years to digest. And now looking at the actual facts, it's not near the time that they told us that it would take for gum to break down. Along those lines, this isn't my answer, but along those lines, they used to tell us if we would swallow watermelon seeds, that it could start to grow a watermelon inside you.
That would be weird.
Also, they used to tell us I think this was teachers to get us to not make faces at kids or anybody, that if we were making a face and somebody pat us on the back, our face would stay like that.
Oh.
The things teachers and parents would tell kids.
Yeah, if I had a pouty face, then it would be the same. And I think that one stayed.
Right.
That one did stay.
I would say that I distinctly remember learning in school that lightning went from the ground up. And so that it would strike the ground and I believed that for the longest time up until my adulthood, because I distinctly I can remember sitting in class and learning that. And I think there's some truth to it, where when it comes down, it comes up to creates an arc or whatever to meet it. I don't know how all that works. But in no way do I think that lightning just shoots up from the ground like I did when I was a kid. Looking at that, I'm like, wait, that doesn't make much sense at all.
Mm-hmm. That's the type of thing that happens in anime.
Oh, that's just because the power level's coming off them. Right?
Yep.
I mean, that's true.
Gotta power up. No, you gotta get your fists like this if you're gonna power up. You gotta be like, anyway. Alright. So, here's a philosophical question.
Oh no, I'm not good at these.
Me neither.
Who is Phil and why is he sophical? Anyway, do you think Do you think people are inherently good or bad? Or you can ask that question, do you think people are inherently good or bad? I'll start
Okay.
on that one.
Thank you.
I think people aren't inherently good or bad. I think they just naturally have a neutral state, and then based off of the circumstances in which they grow or they're presented with, they develop a tendency towards one or another. I don't think someone's born to be a mass murderer or to be a tyrant or something like that. But then again, I don't think somebody's born to be a saint and this amazing person. I think we have the potential of both, and it's our circumstances in life that make us one way or another.
When you said nobody's born, I thought the song "Bad to the Bone." On the day that I was born, the nurse gathered.
That's true. Okay, so that
to see the wonder that they found.
Okay. Yeah, so
Bad to the bone. Yep.
Rock has proven me wrong once again.
No, but I agree with you there. Like, I don't think somebody was just born and, like, the instant thoughts that come to their brain was, I'm just gonna go, like, do something really bad.
Right.
I'm just gonna go and rob a bank. As a 1-year-old baby.
As a 3.
As like a 1-year-old child, they're not gonna go rob a bank or have thoughts of, you know what? They're not even gonna know what a bank is. Or they're not gonna be like, I'm gonna go donate all my money to charity. What money do you have? You're a baby. You're 1 year old.
Some babies have more money than I have right now.
That's true. That's true, but they don't know what charity is. So they can't, unless they name charity.
Right.
But,
could donate my money to charity. That's my sister.
But yeah, I agree with what you said, so.
Okay.
I agree too. I don't think there is good or bad. We probably as grown-ups think the good or the bad in the child. Like, oh, he's crying, so he's bad. You know, or like he can't stop crying, or he's hitting or biting somebody's hand or whatever when they're tiny, little. They don't do it out of what is it called?
Malice, yeah.
I think we as adults are the ones teaching them what is good and what is bad according to our beliefs.
I agree with that. Probably out of like experimentation too. They're trying to learn what's good and what's bad, and I think we can either kind of nurture one or the other, right? But not just like, I don't think it comes down, yes, some comes down to parenting, some comes down to education, but I think it's the whole situations in life and how they learn to react to different circumstances.
Yeah.
Really. Okay, final question for the day. Would you rather be able to speak all languages, so that speak and understand all languages, or be able to talk to animals?
Speak all languages.
Same here.
Okay, elaborate why, both of you.
I don't want to talk to animals.
Okay. Animal hater. Just kidding.
No,
she's not an animal hater.
I have a lot of birds and 2 dogs. But that doesn't mean that I'm very nice to my dogs. I mean, I am nice to my dogs, but I'm not like I'm not like this, which that's a good thing for people that really treat their dogs like if it's another child. But I'm not. It's really hard for me. I wasn't grown up like that. I grew up as this is a dog and stays outside and don't interact with them as much as like pet them every day, say hello, how are you? But
you play with them when they're outside, but not letting them on the bed or whatever. They're not eating from your plate right next to you.
I tried we tried with one of our dogs to let her on our bed, but then, well, it wasn't our bed. It was on the couch, I think, like with Ruby. But then I had
blanket so we could put her on the bed.
Yes, but then I had health problems and stuff.
And I had a new baby.
And a new baby, and I just couldn't.
Right.
And so sometimes I feel bad. I'm like, oh, I should be better with my dogs. But anyway, the point is, I prefer to speak all languages because I want to understand people. And I want to be able to talk to different people.
Okay.
My thing...
Well, I was just going to add on to hers. I have a different opinion, but you listen to your kids whining all day long. If you can understand your dogs and your birds, that would just be more people whining around the house.
Yep, I shut off that part of my hearing. Once they start fighting, my kids or the birds start yapping all day, I just like cut it off, and I just think of like in the Inside Out movie, like the guy, you know. Just kidding.
Come with me, Gallina.
Yeah. That's me. That's how I shut off everything, and they're like, "So what do you think, Mom?" Oh, can you tell me the last thing? I don't know what you just said. That's a parent thing, I think.
I mean, if you understood all languages, you'd understand the gibberish of your speaking.
That's true.
So, either way.
Really understanding teens nowadays, I'm not sure I want to understand that language.
That language is interesting. Anyway.
No, I've heard that it's changing a lot. We just haven't put you out there.
No, I've been out there. I know a lot of team language now.
But then you don't.
No,
they don't speak it to their parents.
I don't express it to my parents because most of it's not good.
Okay.
This is a conversation for after the pod. Just kidding.
Okay, so my opinion was like the languages, right? All languages. Mm-hmm. But it kind of changed to animals. Because if I learned all languages and I could understand them, you know how some people start talking different language and you can know they're talking about you? I'd rather not know what they're talking about me for and then have to be a slightly ignorant because if I know, then I'm going to feel horrible. So if I know the dogs, like if I listen to dogs or listen to birds, at least I know, hey, they need this. Okay, so maybe they're squawking because they need this, like food or water.
But they could be talking about you too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like how sometimes they're like, look at that funny looking dog. He's like, look at that derpy human over there.
I mean, I think it'd be fine, like with
It looks
animals.
like a poodle with his
Because the
hair.
animals.
Just kidding.
Oh gosh. Animals. They. Yeah.
I would have to say animals. Like, it would be really cool to understand all languages. But I think with animals, I'm thinking more on the side of, you know, business and spy work, right? If you're able to talk to the animals could be getting you a lot of information. With humans, you still have to worry about being able to decode that and everything else because there's always somebody that speaks that language, right? With animals, you don't have to worry about that. So being able to speak with them, you can be a information gatherer, or you can start up your own clinic like pet psychiatry or something.
Oh my gosh, that would be horrible.
And be able to talk with the pets and help them. People would bring their pets in and you could help figure out why they're barking at the mailman or why they're howling at the moon or why your birds are fighting over one perch or something like that. I mean, you could explain to them, hey, there's multiple perches in here. Do you need us to move the height of them? Or, you know, like, I think that would be great.
Well, I'm going back to understanding all languages really quick.
Okay.
Would that be coding languages as well? Like, could you understand those types of languages too?
I would say spoken language, right?
Okay. Well, then never mind.
Spoken and written. Yes, code is
Code
written
is
language.
a writing language.
I know.
So that
I
should
would
be
have
the
to
debate now. Would code languages count?
But do you... I'm not going to ask that question because I know that you can answer yes.
What?
But
ask it the question.
Do people communicate via code?
Yes.
So through Python, through Java, can you communicate to your friends strictly in Python or Java?
Oh yeah.
But you're still utilizing some other language while you're doing it.
That's true. Yeah, that's why you learn that language.
So even if you're communicating with binary or hexadecimal, you would still have to tie it to a specific language in order for it to make sense. So even your coding language is still based off of another language.
Yeah, well, and that's why if you do all the languages, the language that your coding language is based off of, you know the language, and so you're able to still talk it.
Here's the thing. Our birds talk Morse
code. That's true. Is that a language?
That's why I think would count. Because Morse code, some people, with the telegraphs, they had to listen to that.
Right, but that's understanding a form of communication. Even with Morse code, it's because each sound, whatever, represents a letter. Right? And then that translates to a word within a language. That's just a form of communication.
If I type letters on my keyboard and type it still puts out a word
exactly.
in a language.
Exactly.
So
it's
coding,
still tied to a language.
So coding is a language.
But you wouldn't learn keyboard. Oh, I'm fluent in keyboard. Right? You can be fast keyboarder, but you're not fluent in keyboard.
You'd still be fluent in the language.
But you can be fluent in Morse code. So speaking of that, that's true. Sign language.
What
yes,
the language
you're
of,
still using words from a specific language, like English Sign Language or Micro Sign Language, and you have with the different languages. So yes, but it's still language in and of itself. So I think there's a gray line here. But I think for the sake of us, we're just gonna say coding is not a language.
Okay, I can debate this, but
debate
also
it,
really
Ashton,
quick,
debate it.
So the stuff that I don't know what it's called, but the blind people touch on the walls.
Braille.
Would that be counted as a language?
Yes.
It's a form of communication.
Yes, it's a form of communication.
Because it's still representation.
But inside of something else. So if we're talking about my coding being inside a computer, the Braille is inside of something to describe what it is. So if it's inside of something, that doesn't count. You over here told me this. So coding is a language.
Well, yes, coding is a language, but it's not one of these understandable languages.
It would be.
Because Braille, is still going back to English or whatever letter it's in. It's just a way of presenting those letters that make up words that already exist.
Do I not code in English?
You code in if, then, and, or.
It counts as a language. Because if you click enter and you type hello, it can type hello back, so you're technically understanding the language of it speaking too.
That's as far as you got in coding. Hello world. Isn't that the first thing
That's the first thing you learn in coding?
Right.
But no, coding is a language, and I stand by it, that you can learn inside of all these languages.
Okay, so you could understand coding if you're understanding languages. Okay.
Yes.
Where does that sway you from understanding animals to understanding coding languages, which there's lots of software engineers out there that understand all your coding languages, so you can't really encrypt things very well.
Goodness.
So where does that work better than understanding animals?
So you're not encrypting, even though software engineers can figure it out?
Then how can you be a spy?
Huh. Well, you you get the information from somebody, then you learn what the software engineer knows, and you get around them by using something completely different. Boom.
But then there will
I'd
always
be
be
a
somebody
spy.
that knows it.
But you can still be a spy if you know all languages. They're not gonna know that you know their language.
It's true. It's
Sure.
not. It's called hacker. Oh wait, all languages. He was talking about coding languages.
Coding languages, you could be a hacker.
That's true. They may not know that you understand it.
It'd
So
be
you can
nice
still be a spy.
though, because the people, so like the cyber patriot people that actually try to protect people from hackers,
Mm-hmm.
they over here, if they understood all languages, they could actually protect everyone from like hackers trying to get in using Python. Like, I think some hackers could try getting into somebody's computer using Python.
But if you need these codes or pins to get into this super secret base and to shut down the lasers and everything else, who better to get you that information? Because you're not going to be out there with binoculars, like looking down. Have a fly sitting on the guy's shoulder, and he shares with you those codes. You get into that secret bunker, and then
What if they
hit
had
the self-destruct
A
button.
fly is not an animal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an insect, so technically we can't count it as an animal.
It still falls into the animal family. Insects
No.
are a type of animal.
No. If coding's not a type of language, an insect is not an animal.
Tell us whether you think an insect is an animal. I'm pretty sure if
Is
you look up,
coding a language?
Is coding not a language? A fly is an animal.
but it's
If a
not a
bug is an
spoken
animal.
form of. You're not going to be like, if indent da 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 da, then indent.
How do you know that the fly doesn't speak that way?
Well, they might.
Yeah.
It is a fly, okay?
Yeah.
We don't even know what. I don't think we'd be able to understand flies unless we knew every language. Because those things, they're not classified under animal, so would they have a
Yes,
different
they
language?
are. If you look at animal and ask, I wish we had like Alexa over here. Alexa, is a fly an animal? And she would say, according to an Alexa contributor,
No.
yes, it is.
Not sponsored.
Not a sponsor.
According to a person, no. I have no answer for that.
But flies can communicate. You've read the book Fly Guy.
Okay.
Mm.
Fly Guy knew one word.
Buzz.
And that's because that's the only thing flies say.
Well, that's what you think. But that buzz, depending on how they say it, means so many different things.
Like the Chinese language.
Also,
Yeah, the intonation in Chinese language that would, see, with language that would be a cool one to be able to understand, right? But I still think understanding a fly's intonation would be pretty cool.
I feel like they'd have fly swatters though. In a place like this, they'd have some sort of thing to get rid lasers. Okay, what are flies attracted to? Bright lights. This destroy.
This would be a trained
yeah.
fly.
Train
Okay,
fly.
Then,
What are you gonna train it with?
if not a fly,
A flashlight and tell it, hey, don't follow that. No. Bad fly.
okay,
Bad fly.
spiders.
Bad is back.
I'd have a spider then. I'd have spiders do it. Spiders get
Spiders
in
are
anywhere.
arachnids. Those are not animals.
Okay, let's stop talking about spiders.
I'd have the spider crawling in the guy's
Shush.
hair, laying a
guess
few
that-
eggs.
I know. No.
But I think spiders are also attracted. They'd see they'd see the fly that you over here that you sent in
Oh,
the
yeah.
first place, and then they go after the bright light that has the fly in it. So technically, there's a lot of flaws in this
Stop
plant.
eating your partner. Okay, so maybe flies and spiders may not be the best bet.
You could send a deer in there.
Now we would suspect the deer.
Nobody
Right?
would suspect the deer.
All right. Thank you guys for enjoying this. Thank you guys for joining us today. See if I can. I first have to be able to speak English before I can speak any other language. Thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you, Mabel.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.